This video may be disturbing to watch for some audiences. Welcome to r/confessions, where we get to hear the most disturbing confessions. How I went from neo-Nazi to what I'm today. This might be offensive to some. So basically, I was raised in a conservative, Russian family where everyone thought/thinks it's okay to be racist, homophobic and in general derogatory. Therefore from a young age it was put into my head that all of this is okay, and I would participate in such behavior. Oftentimes I would hate on myself as a young child at the age of 12, when I showed signs of being more feminine than most guys or men in my family. I would literally be homophobic to my actions and thoughts. I suppressed anything to do with that. Instead I took out my anger and insecurity on gay people in my high school. I would constantly bully them and join other bullies because I considered it to be fun. A few years later I got a girlfriend who was bisexual, and I also became friends with a neo-Nazi girl. For the sake of making this easier, let's call her Lily. I grew fond of Lily's extreme views and actions. Things like saying the N-word, Hitler was a good guy, kill all Jews, etc. Because of this I felt like it resembled the behaviors I was around when I was younger, and therefore I started to associate more with it. I thought it was cool, different, and edgy. I would hurt my GF by saying she's mentally ill for being bisexual, and basically, long story short, after a while I was exposed at my high school and everyone began to hate me, calling me a Nazi and much more. But eventually after a few years the tables have turned, and I'm now a full-blown faggot who doesn't even dare to think racist, homophobic and extreme thoughts. I just wish I could turn back time and do differently, because it was such a disgusting phase, and it will forever stick to me. I was falsely accused of sexual harassment at 13, first semester of 8th grade, 13 years old. My parents never approved of me having Snapchat as they thought it was truly a sexting app for minors, which is pretty ironic, because this story proves their point from their perspective. I had liked this girl for a little bit, Amy, and we were in the same LA class. One night I text Amy's friend Alicia telling her that I think Amy is hot and that I want to hang out with her. That was all I had said. Alicia told Amy that I had wanted to fuck her, and Amy believed her without hesitation, it seemed. That night, Amy went and told her parents that I was trying to have sex with her and get her alone so I could have sex with her. This was completely false, as all I had said was that she was attractive and I'd want to hang out with her. This apparently brewed for a few days while her family contacted mine without me knowing. It wasn't until after basketball tryouts that day that my dad picked me up and told me he knew about what I had said, and we were going to speak with Amy's parents that night. I was absolutely scared shitless, wondering WTF was going on, as what I had said was completely innocent. I couldn't tell my parents what I had actually said, as it were her and Alicia's word against mine. Who are they going to believe? A hormonal 13-year-old boy or two girls playing as victims? There was no evidence as what had really happened, as Snapchat deletes your texts and snaps after you stop viewing them. So it was truly her word against mine. I didn't have a leg to stand on as her parents walked through the front door, and I shook her father and mother's hand, getting ready for the most undeserved talk of my life. They began by stating that they could take us to court for sexual harassment and sue us. I'm sure now that this is very unlikely, almost impossible, but in the moment I believed it. So with the threat of sexual harassment charges in the air, I sat there drenched in sweat. Unbeknownst to me, we had been friends with this family for a small time in the past, as my little sister had her first communion with their other daughter. This seemed to be their only point in stating why they wouldn't press charges, that we used to go to church with them. With relief I waited there for it to be over. God, I just wanted them to leave. After a bit more small talk, the conversation ended with my parents dumbfounded at what they had thought I had done, and Amy's parents glad they had taught me a lesson. They left, and it wasn't long before my parents took my phone. I watched my mom try to log into my Snapchat account that I logged out of, so they couldn't have access to it. I watched her make a new password for the account, which I would remember a year later, and gain access to the account again. They had decided that I would be grounded until they decided to unground me, which for most of you with parents like this, you know this is the worst type of punishment. The time in total of having no phone or access to friends was approximate 10 to 11 months, and I had to take every item out of the garage, clean it individually, and put it back organized, twice in that time. This was terrible as I was 13 to 14 unknowing of what real manual labor was like. I had to buy my own phone after my grounding was up, and I remembered the password my mom made for that Snapchat account and I logged back into it seeing a lot of unimportant shit, but just remembering how Amy had construed what I had said to get me grounded for a year. To this day I still don't know why, whether it was on purpose or some accidental interpretation. She told her parents that I wanted to get her alone and fuck her. I still haven't told my parents the real story as I don't want to make them feel bad for doing that to me. I still don't know if I should have spoken up, but what I do know is in that moment I felt powerless. I'm not a man who was falsely accused of rape and sentenced to jail, but I feel like this instance is similar, but on a much incredibly smaller scale. Nonetheless, I was grounded for a year for something I didn't say and still haven't told my parents the true story. I'm drowning in anger and grief. On January 16th my 27F mother, 42F, took her own life. No note, no warning. Just hung herself. Luckily one of her friends found her and not my siblings because they were home and she did it in the front yard. My brother, 12 meters, was sleeping on the fucking couch. What if he fucking woke up and saw her? I'm so angry with her. My anger is like constantly at a 7. I'm now raising a 12 years old autistic boy who just lost his mom, and he has no idea how to process all of this. I also have a son, he's 4. I feel like I'm drowning. Benefits, life insurance, settling her estate can't happen until we get a death certificate, which for some reason can take up to fucking 6 weeks. I'm so heartbroken. My mom was 15 when she had me. She was a strong woman. She had her PhD before she turned 40. Brilliant, intelligent, beautiful, caring. She was admired by her students. She taught nursing. She was loved by so many. She had her issues for sure. She had a temper. She drank too much, and she always picked men over her kids. All I've ever wanted was to be enough for my mother, and the one time it would have really counted. Our love was not enough to make her stay. I feel like I'm rambling now, but I miss my mama. I'm scarred for life after catching my 16-year-old son doing the hanky panky. Usually I'm in the office every wed and Friday the rest of the week. My son does Zoom classes Tuesdays and Thursdays and in class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. He's a 10th grader. I know from general things he says and from his social media that he has friends who are girls. One in particular leaves 4-word comments on his posts. He gave no hint that he has a girlfriend. Last week we got into a fight over chores. I told him he really doesn't do shit when he's doing online classes, so he can clean the house when I'm at work. He said that he is so busy and so overwhelmed, and I just don't see it because I'm never home. So I came up with this plan to catch the little bastard by coming home early the next day when I'm usually in the office all day to see what he is doing. I parked on the street and went around the side instead of the driveway and through the front door. This was 11 AM. I went into the living room where he does his Zoom and he's fucking this girl on the couch. They didn't see me. I just thought that this was the same boy who called me as daddy just a few years ago and I would pick up and toss onto the same couch that he is now fucking on. I guess what surprised me was how loud they were. I tried texting and calling his cell from the other room, and it went straight to voicemail. I slammed the back door and gave it a few minutes and was stunned that that is all it took for the girl to disappear or hide and for my son to log back into his school account. He actually had a bad attitude. An hour later I told him I saw him having what appeared to be sexual intercourse on the couch. I said it didn't look like there was a condom. My son said he didn't finish and she had plan B. I slapped him upside the head. Now I work from home every day. I'm so confused with my life right now. I have family issues, not to the worst extent, but it seems like, no matter what I say, or do they twist it to where it's my fault, no matter their own flaws. I absolutely adore my boyfriend, and he's always there for me with kind words and an open heart. But he's so loved by so many people go to him for things, adore him, and ever since I graduated high school, and even a bit before then, I felt so alone somehow. Of course college with the pandemic is less than desirable and incredibly hard to make friends. I just want that one friend to talk to, someone really close and dear to me. but all the ones I've heard have slowly retreated. Of course people grow apart, I get that. It just hurts right now. It sucks when everything is going so well, and one minute it can all turn around. I never post on Reddit or anywhere about this stuff. It usually goes unsaid or said to people who really don't give a fuck. So, I'm really just here venting in hopes that I'm not alone. I just want to have a close girlfriend. I just don't feel at peace, and I don't feel loved in the friend category at all. I'm hoping this just allows me to get some stuff off of my chest. Any advice is surely welcome. I guess that's all. I was beaten up by my ex-boyfriend yesterday. A little about me. I'm 22 male, British and I'm bi. So yesterday me and my ex-boyfriend were having an argument over me not getting any help for my mental health problems, and it got very heated, and he then pushed me over and kicked me hard in the stomach and then proceeded to beat me up for about 5 minutes. When he stopped he looked at me while I was on the floor and then tried apologizing, but I got up and ran to my bedroom and started packing my things. My ex-boyfriend didn't try stop me, and I took all my bags and put them in my car. I then put my 2 pugs in my car. I then turned around to my ex-boyfriend, who was behind me now begging me to not go, but I told him our relationship was over. I then phoned one of my friends to tell them what had happened, and she was very angry, but she also told me I could go live with her till I get my own place. Today has been another scary day for me too, because my ex-boyfriend found out where I was staying and he wanted to talk to me, but my friend wouldn't let him in her house, and I even told him to go away or I'll call the police. But then he said when he gets his hands on me, he will kill me. After he said that, he left, and that's when I decided I would go to the police and report him. My friend has a Ring doorbell, so we have evidence on that of him saying he will kill me. I'm still a bit shaken up by what happened and have not slept for over 24 hours, but I'm doing okay considering how depressed I've felt recently. I think labeling hairstyles and other aesthetic choices as specific to one race is fucking stupid. I know this one is going to have lots of angry reviews, but that's what this shit is for, so here's my opinion. LMAO. Policing who can or cannot have a hairstyle based on the color of their skin is fucking stupid. I saw a thread on Twitter today debating if a pony from MLP would be black based on her hairstyle if she were human, and her hairstyle being used as an excuse for why she couldn't possibly be white if she were a human and not a horse. That's fucking stupid. It's a cartoon. She is literally pink. Who cares? Draw her as a pink human, then, you fucking idiots. Why can't she be pink? Because it's not a human color? Whatever. I don't see why we gotta do that. Dreadlocks were started 3600 years ago in Europe. We live in a melting pot of humans. We are all the same thing. Just because we are different shades doesn't make us any different. Obviously racism is terrible, and what has happened to groups non-white at the hands of white people is horrendous, but this shit is just getting kind of old tbh. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing, as it really motivates me to make more of these videos. Have an amazing day.